I buried my father with my own hands, digging the grave deeper than the law required, because I wanted to make sure the worms choked on his lies before they reached his rotten heart. That night, as the dirt settled under a blood moon over the Nevada Badlands, I cracked open his old army footlocker, the one he'd sworn held nothing but ghosts, and found it, Bucket List 11, scrawled in his shaky hand on a yellowed napkin stained with bourbon and regret. It wasn't some feel-good pilgrimage to the Grand Canyon or a dying wish for reconciliation. No. It was a hit list. 11 names crossed out in red ink. Each one a thread unraveling the life he'd stolen from me. The first name on that list? My best friend, Tommy Reyes. The brother I never had, until he put a bullet in my father's skull 20 years ago and let me take the fall. I'd spent half my life in a cage for a murder I didn't commit, emerging into a world that had forgotten me, only to realize the old man had played us all like pawns in his endless con. As I stared at that napkin in the flickering lantern light, the desert wind howling like the devil's laughter, I felt the rage uncoil in my gut, not hot and blinding, but cold, surgical, the kind that carves empires from ashes. Vengeance wasn't a choice anymore. It was the only road left untaken. And just like that, with the shovel still calloused in my palms, I lit the match. The footlocker went up in flames. But the list? I folded it into my pocket, close to the .45 I dug up from the same grave. 11 down. 1 to go, me. But I'd rewrite the ending before it wrote me. The Nevada sun doesn't rise, it assaults. By noon the next day, I'd driven 100 miles east on I-15, the Impala's engine growling like it remembered the old man's temper tantrums. Reno sprawled ahead, a neon scar on the high desert, all slot machines and sin where dreams go to flatline. I hadn't been back since the trial, 18 months of fluorescent hell in Clark County lockup, followed by a decade-plus stretch in Ely State, where the walls whispered your sins back to you in the dead of night. Parole had spit me out 6 months ago, a free man on paper, but the ink on that napkin burned hotter than any judge's gavel. I checked into the El Dorado Motel, room 207. The kind of dive where the carpet sticks to your boots and the Bible's chained to the nightstand like it's plotting an escape. $50 got me a sagging bed and a view of the parking lot, where hookers and fishnets negotiated rates under buzzing sodium lamps. I spread the napkin on the Formica table, the list staring up like a wanted poster from hell. Tommy's name was first, crossed with a flourish that could have been pride or apology. Below it, Elena Vasquez, my mother, dead at 29 from an overdose when I was 8. Then Judge Harlan Crow, the crooked bastard who'd banged the gavel on my guilty verdict. 6 more, cops. Informants. A rival fixer named Gino, the Blade, Moretti. The last 2 blurred under the bourbon stain, 1 illegible. The other circled in fresh ink. Mine?
No.
Wait, Sarah Klein, the prosecutor who'd twisted my confession like a pretzel. Dad's handwriting, all caps and erratic, like he'd written it during a blackout bender. Bucket List 11, loose ends to tie. Loose ends. That's what he called the bodies he'd stacked to build his empire. A mid-level bookie who'd clawed his way into Vegas syndicates by the 90s, back when the mob still ran the strip like a feudal lord. I'd grown up idolizing him, Jack Ironjaw Harlan, the man who could bluff a full house against Bugsy Siegel's ghost. He taught me poker at 5, 3-card Monte at 7, and by 12, I was running envelopes for him between the Flamingo and the Sahara. Family's blood.
Kid, he'd say,
clapping my shoulder hard enough to bruise. And blood don't spill easy. But blood spilled that night in '03. Tommy and I, thick as thieves since Little League, busting into Gino's warehouse off the old Hoover Dam Road. We were kids, 22 and dumb, chasing Dad's promise of a cut from a score that'd set us up for life. Tommy pulled the trigger on Gino, pop,
Pop.
center mass, when the Italian lunged for his piece. Dad walked in 5 minutes later, saw the mess, and instead of calling it self-defense, he pinned it on me. "You did good, son," he whispered as the cuffs snapped on, his breath reeking of scotch. "Take the heat. I'll make it right." Tommy vanished into Witsec. New name, new life in Phoenix, while I rotted.
Dad?
He cashed in, bought a ranch up near Pyramid Lake, played the grieving widower while Elena's ghost haunted the family plot. I traced Tommy's name with my thumb, the red ink flaking like dried blood. Was this his confession? Dad's final fuck you from beyond? Or had the old man been tying off his own noose? One loose end at a time? I needed answers. And answers in Reno meant starting where the lies began, Tommy's old haunt. The Silver Spur Saloon on Virginia Street. The Spur hadn't changed, peeling paint, jukebox crooning Waylon Jennings, bartenders with tattoos older than meth. I slid onto a stool, ordered a Jack Neat, and flashed a 20 with Dad's old pinky ring, the one engraved blood in, blood out. The barkeep, a grizzled vet named Mick, squinted. "Harlan's boy.
Shit.
Thought you were doing life. Parole," I muttered, sipping slow. "Heard from Tommy Reyes lately?" Mick's eyes darted. Then he leaned in. "Reyes? That spick rat? Ain't seen him since the feds scooped him. But word is, he's back, undercover or some bullshit, sniffing around the old cruise."
Why?
"You lookin' to settle scores?" I forced a grin, the kind that hides teeth. "Just tying loose ends," he laughed. But it died quick when I slid the ring across the bar. Mick pocketed it, nodded toward the back. "Booth 7. Ask for Lena." She was Tommy's girl before he ghosted. Lena Vasquez, no relation to Mom. Thank Christ, was mid-40s now. Peroxide blonde fading to dishwater. Nursing a gin at the scarred oak table. Her eyes lit up when I said my name, then narrowed to slits. "Jackie Harlan. The fall guy. Tommy talks about you in his sleep sometimes, calls you the brother he killed." "Poetic," I said, sliding in opposite. "He around?" She lit a Virginia Slim. Exhaled smoke like venom. "Phoenix mostly. But he drifts back. Chasing ghosts. Your old man put a hex on this town."
Jackie.
Tommy says Jack was the real shooter that night. Gino had dirt on him. "Something about your ma. Overdose my ass. Elena was clean. Last I heard." The world tilted. Mom's accident. Pills scattered like confetti in the bathroom of their Sahara suite. Dad had sobbed at the funeral, arm around me like a vice. She couldn't take the life. Son. Weak blood. But if Gino knew. If Dad silenced her to protect his house of cards. Lena leaned closer, her breath sour. "Tommy's got a kid now. You know. Little girl. 5 years old. Calls her Maria, after his abuela. If you're here for blood, Harlan, walk away. Some debts ain't worth collecting." I pocketed the napkin fragment I'd torn off, Tommy's name for her to pass along, and stood. "Debts like this? They compound interest."
Outside.
The neon buzzed, and I felt the list's weight in my jacket like a tumor. First loose end, find Tommy. But as I fired up the Impala, headlights sweeping the alley, a black SUV peeled out from the shadows, tires screeching. I floored it, heart slamming, the desert road unspooling like a noose. They tailed me for 10 miles, close enough I could smell their cologne through the exhaust, fedora brims and cheap aftershave. Judge Crow's old crew. Dad's list had eyes on it already. I lost them in a dust devil off 395, pulling into an abandoned gas station where coyotes picked at roadkill. Leaning against the pump, I unfolded the napkin again. Next name, Harlan Crow. Fitting, the judge who'd sentenced me to 25, to life. His robes hiding ink from the same syndicate Dad fed. Crow was retired now, holed up in a McMansion in Summerlin, golfing with ghosts. But if Lena was right, if Dad killed Mom, then Crow knew. They all did. Sleep came fitful, dreams of Elena's face melting into the napkin, her eyes accusing. By dawn, I was moving, the .45 heavy in my waistband. Revenge wasn't a sprint, it was a marathon of mirrors, each reflection shattering the man I thought I was. And bucket list 11? It was just the map to the man I'd become. Summerlin's gated communities are America's wet dream of suburbia, manicured lawns, 3-car garages, and security cams that miss the snakes in the grass. I parked the Impala 2 blocks from Crow's place, a sprawling rancher with a Go Raiders flag limp in the heat. The judge was 72 now, paunchy and pickled, his glory days presiding over mob trials reduced to Fox News rants about law and order. But power lingers like cigar smoke. I could smell it from the sidewalk. I'd cased the joint online, LinkedIn lies and Zillow fantasies, painting him as a family man with 2 grown sons in finance. A wife named Betty, who baked for the PDA. No mention of the envelope Dad slipped him monthly, or the verdict he'd rigged like a slot machine. I hopped the low wall at dusk, blending into the sprinkler's hiss, Glock suppressor whispering against my thigh. The backslider was unlocked, arrogance of the untouchable.
Inside.
The air-con hummed a lullaby. Betty's needlepoint hoops scattered on the sectional. Crow snored in the den. Lazy boy reclined, remote glowing on his belly. I pressed the barrel to his temple, gentle as a kiss. Morning, Your Honor. Time for recess. He jolted awake, eyes bugging like a frog on a hot plate. Harlan, Jesus.
Kid.
You're supposed to be.
Out.
Yeah. Funny how appeals work when the evidence disappears. I flicked on the desk lamp, its yellow pool catching the silver frames. Grandkids. Vacations. The whole picket fence lie. Bucket list 11 ring a bell? His face drained, jowls quivering. Jack's nonsense. Senile ramblings. Put that away. Boy, we can talk. I shoved the napkin under his nose. Elena's name circled. Talk. Like you talked when you buried my mother? Gino Moretti had tapes, her screaming about Dad's schemes from the union. You signed off on the cover-up, didn't you? Overdose, my left nut.
Crow swallowed.
Adam's apple bobbing. It was mercy.
Jackie.
Your old man was untouchable, fed circling. But he had dirt on everyone. Elena. She came to me, hysterical. Said Jack beat her. Threatened the kid, you. I hushed it to protect the family. Liar. I cocked the hammer, the click echoing like Judgment Day. You profited. Syndicate payoffs kept that robe starched. He sagged, tears carving tracks in the liver spots. All right.
Christ.
Jack killed her, pushed her too hard. Pills to shut her up. Gino filmed it. Blackmailed him into the heist. Tommy shot Gino on orders. But Jack framed you to tie off the witness.
I
I took the hush money. 20 years clean now. Jackie. Grandkids. Please. The plea hung. Sour as regret. I should have pulled the trigger, cross him off. Feel the recoil kiss my palm. But his eyes, milky with fear, mirrored mine at the trial, a boy pleading innocence to a packed courtroom. Controversial? Hell. Executing a has-been judge in his PJs? That'd split juries faster than OJ's glove. Instead, I pressed the barrel harder, drawing a bead of sweat. Where's Tommy now?
real time.
Not bullshit. Phoenix. Some strip mall PI firm. Reyes Investigations. But he's dirty.
Kid.
Still running numbers for the remnants. Jack's list? It's a trap. He crossed names as he went, but the last one's you. Make the boy a man. Or was it make the boy pay? I backhanded him, the ring splitting his lip. Write it down. Everything, dates, tapes, the works. He scribbled on Betty's monogrammed stationery, hands shaking like Parkinson's. I pocketed it, then zip-tied him to the chair, gagging him with his own tie. Call it community service. Tell the cops it was a prank. Betty's scream met me at the front door as I slipped out, sirens wailing distant. The Impala ate pavement south, toward Arizona, the list fluttering like a black flag. Crow's words nod, a trap. Dad's final game. Turning his own son into the monster? Or redemption? Forging me in fire? Phoenix hit like a fever dream, palms and pistachio ice cream stands masking the sprawl's underbelly. I found Reyes Investigations in a Tempe plaza, sandwiched between a vape shop and a bail bondsman. Tommy's name on the frosted glass, bold as brass. I waited in the shadows till closing, heart thumping a drum solo. When he emerged broader than memory, salt and pepper buzz cut, wedding ring glinting, he froze at the Impala's headlights. Jackie. His voice cracked. Spanish lilt unchanged. Madre de Dios. You're alive. I stepped out. .45 loose at my side.
Dad's dead.
Left me a present. He glanced at the napkin I tossed him, face crumpling. That cabron. I crossed his name first after the funeral. Thought it ended the nightmare. We ended up at a dive off Mill Avenue, Dos Gringos, where the margaritas burned and the band played corridos about lost love. Tommy nursed a Corona, stories spilling like confession. Gino had the tape, Elena begging Jack to stop. He snapped.
Force-fed her the oxy.
I walked in post-heist, saw you framed, and ran like a coward. Jack promised you'd do light time, get paroled early. Lied through his teeth. And Mom, my voice was gravel. Jack's sin, all of it. I took the shot on Gino to protect you, hermano. But leaving you, that's my cross. The bar spun. Tequila haze blurring the betrayal. Brother? He'd built a life while I broke rocks. But his eyes, haunted, holding a sleeping Maria's photo, stirred something ugly. Pity? Or the first crack in the vengeance armor? Who's next on the list? He asked, voice low. I rattled off names, ending with Sarah Klein. Tommy whistled. The Ice Queen? She's DA now, runnin' for Senate. Untouchable. Not for long. I stood, the weight lifting fractional. You in?
Or you out?
Like always? He hesitated, then nodded.
In.
For Elena. For you. As we shook, the SUV from Reno idled across the street. Headlights off.
They were closing the net.
Dad's loose ends weren't just names. They were a syndicate echo, hungry for the last Harlan standing. The Arizona night pressed close. Stars pricked like bullet holes in black silk. Tommy and I tore out of Tempe in tandem, his Tacoma leading, my Impala shadowing, heading for the ghost town of Jerome, that crooked mining relic clinging to Mingus Mountain like a bad habit. Old safe house, he'd said over burner phones. Jack used it for drops. Off-grid. No signals. Paranoia was our third wheel now. The SUV's ghost haunting every rear view. Jerome was a fever of history, saloons turned galleries. Mine shafts yawning like open graves. We holed up in a boarded Victorian. Dust motes dancing in flashlight beams. Tommy cracked a mini fridge stocked with PBR and jerky, his doing. Prepped for just in case. I spread the list on a clawfoot tub, adding Crow's confession as Exhibit A. 6 names left. 2 dirty cops from the original bust. A union boss who'd laundered Dad's cash. Lena Visca's wait. Her. And Gino's widow. Rosa Moretti, who'd inherited the blackmail empire. Lena? Tommy barked, lighting a lucky. She was my snitch, fed me on Jack's moves post-trial. Why her? Jealousy. Maybe, I guessed. The napkin mocking us. Or she knew too much about Elena. He paced. Boots thudding hollow floors. This list ain't random.
Jackie.
It's a chain. Each kill covers the last. Jack started with Elena. Gino caught wind.
So Gino next.
You took the fall to bury that. Me witness. Crow the seal. Now it's unraveling 'cause he's dead.
Dead.
The word landed soft. But the memory hit hard. Dad's ranch. Last winter. Hospice bed. Oxygen hissing. Me fresh from parole. Grudging visits. Proud of you. Son, he'd wheezed, gripping my hand. Tougher than me. I'd believed it hook. Line. Sinker, till the footlocker revealed the hook was barbed. We plotted till dawn. Hit the cops first. Ex-Vegas PD. Retired to Bullhead City. Billy Two-Gun Tate and Frankie Ruiz. The duo who'd found the murder weapon in my trunk. Low-hanging fruit, booze hounds golfing at Laughlin Ranch. Tommy had dirt, Ruiz's daughter hooked on fentanyl. Tate's alimony bleeding him dry. Leverage over lead. But sleep evaded. Ghosts crowding the tub. Elena's laugh echoed from childhood Christmases. Piñata swings and tamales steaming. Dad's shadow always there. Approving nods masking the monster. What if vengeance was just chasing his specter? What if I became him, crossing names till the ink ran dry? Midnight found me on the widow's walk. Wind whipping. Town lights twinkling below like fallen stars. Tommy joined. Passing a flask. Maria asked about uncles today. Told her about you, the hero who fought dragons. I snorted. Dragons with badges and gavels. He sobered. You ever think? Maybe Jack wanted this? The list as inheritance. Make you finish what he couldn't. The flask burned going down. Then he's getting it with interest. Dawn broke bloody. Us rolling into Bullhead under a hubbub haze. Laughlin Ranch was emerald false in the Dust Bowl. Retirees teeing off oblivious. We split. Tommy on Ruiz. Me on Tate. Mine was easy, caught him chipping putt solo. Flask hidden in his bag. Harlan, he gasped. Club dropping.
Kid.
I Save the small talk. I pressed the .45 to his sternum. Screened by oleanders. The gun. Planted. Why? Tate blubbered, sweat sheening his polo. Jack's orders. Said it'd make you a man, take the rap, get street cred inside. I got 10 grand.
Clean.
Ruiz, too. Street cred. I laughed.
Bitter.
For a murder I didn't do. He begged, wife. Cancer. The litany. Controversial calculus. And a corrupt cop. Or squeeze for more. I zip-tied him to the cart, forcing a video confession on my phone. Details of the plant.
Payoffs.
Elena's cover. Send to Tommy. I texted. Loose and 9. Across the green. Shots cracked, muffled pops. Tommy emerged, blood on his cuff. Ruiz slumped in a sand trap. Bastard pulled a derringer. Had to. We vanished before sirens. Adrenaline souring to ash. One down. But the chain tightened. Union boss next. Eddie Kowalski. Holed in a Detroit exile's den off the Colorado River. Tommy drove. A silent. Maria's photo dashboard idol. You got kids? He asked finally.
Nah.
Cage don't breed family men. He nodded. Good. This life's poison. Kowalski was a bear of a man. Ex-VW thug turned consultant. His office, a houseboat moored at Havasu. We boarded at twilight. Him grilling brats. Oblivious. Harlans? Plural?
Shit.
Jack Spawn. He boomed laughter. Offering brews. But his eyes flicked. Wary. Wired. We played it cool. Tommy charming with union yarns. Me nursing a course. The list came out casual. Dad left this. Your name's on it. Kowalski's face hardened. Sausage fork stabbing air. That prick owed me. Laundered a mill through my locals. Then stiffed when the feds sniffed. Elena? She was my CI. Feeding me on his schemes. Jack found out. Roughed her. I pushed back. He promised payback. Payback like framing your godson? Tommy snarled. The boat rocked as Kowalski lunged. Massive. But slow. I sidestepped. Glock barking once into his knee. He howled. Collapsing deckside. Mercy.
Boys.
I got nothing, retired. We dragged confessions from him too. Tapes of Elena's tips. Dad's threats. But as Tommy zip-tied him to the railing, Kowalski spat. Lists incomplete. Jack had a 12th himself. Cancer ate him slow. He wanted you to pull the plug.
Jackie.
Mercy kill. The words landed like grape shot. Dad's final loose end me. Not vengeance. But absolution? Twisted fuck. We left him for the sheriff's. Boat adrift. And pushed east. The chain rattling louder. Lena next back in Reno. Her name a wild card. Betrayal or victim? As the miles blurred. I wondered. How many crosses before the mirror cracks? Reno welcomed us with winter's early bite. Flurries dusting the truckee like ash from a crematorium. Lena's apartment was a third-floor walk-up in Midtown. Laundry-strung balcony to fire escape like nooses. Tommy buzzed us in. His knock code from old days 3 sharp.
Pause.
2 soft. She answered in a silk robe frayed at the hems. Hair pinned sloppy. Eyes red-rimmed from tears or terps. Tommy? And the ghost returns. Her gaze slid to me.
Sharpening. Jackie.
Come for the reckoning. Something like. We crowded her living room, velvet couch sagging under thrift store lamps. Virgin de Guadalupe watching from the mantel. I tossed the napkin fragment on the coffee table. Her name glaring. Care to explain? Lena lit up, inhaling deep, smoke curling like fingers. Jack's paranoia. After you went down, he thought I talked, fed Tommy scraps on Gino's crew.
Truth?
I did, but only 'cause Elena begged me before. You know. She stubbed the cig, voice cracking. We were sisters.
Jackie.
Grew up in the barrios together. She confided everything, Jack's fists, the schemes, how he'd promise the moon then deliver bruises. Tommy shifted, uncomfortable. Why cross you then? She laughed. Hollow. Love. Pendejo. I loved her, more than sisters. Jack found letters, twisted it into betrayal. Put a tail on me, roughed up my brother for sport. The list? His way of saying stay away without the mess. The room tilted, pieces slotting ugly. Mom gay? Dad's rage, not just control, but jealousy? Controversial as hell in 90s Vegas, mob wives whispering. Syndicates excommunicating deviants. Elena silenced not for schemes,
But secrets that cut deeper.
You were there? I pressed, throat tight. The night? Lena nodded, tears spilling. Pushed through the bathroom window, found her blue-lipped on the tile. Jack gone. Pills everywhere. I called him first, panicked. He said, clean it. Blame the junkies. I did. For her memory.
But you. God.
Jackie. I testified clean at trial. Per his script. Tommy exploded. You let him rot.
Mi hermano.
She flinched. And you ran. Left him the noose. The air crackled. Old wounds festering. I stepped between. The .45 a cold anchor. Enough. Proof, letters. Anything? She rummaged a shoebox from the closet. Faded envelopes. Elena's script looping like vines. Love notes. Coded. Jack storms pass. But you anchor me. And one. Postmarked weeks before. If I go quiet, tell Jackie the truth. He's the good blood. I pocketed them. The weight seismic. Mom's secret. Buried with her, now exhumed. Demanding justice. But Lena? Victim or accomplice? Her eyes pleaded absolution. And damn if it didn't split me, forgive the keeper of ghosts. Or cross another name. Tommy growled. We can't trust her. Jack's crew's circling. She tips, she's family. I cut in. Voice steel. Like you were. We left her intact. Burner number exchanged. The letters burning holes.
Outside.
Snow thickened, muffling the city. Tommy drove. Knuckles white. Soft.
Jackie.
Vengeance ain't tea party. It's chess, I countered. Pawns first. Next, Rosa Moretti. Gino's widow. Queen of the remnants. She'd relocated to a gated condo in Sparks, peddling influence from a Botox throne. Tommy's contacts pinned her at a charity gala that night. Vegas Cancer League. Ironic toast to Dad's demise. We crashed at low-key, me and Dad's old tux. Threadbare but tailored, Tommy blending as security. The ballroom glittered, chandeliers dripping. Socialites air-kissing. Open bar flowing view. Rosa held court center. 60s sleek. Raven hair coiffed. Diamonds winking like switchblades. Widowhood suited her. Gino's death minted her dawn. I approached flute in hand. MS. Moretti? Jack Harlan's boy. Heard you knew my old man. her eyes, coal-lined, appraised cool. The prodigal. Jack spoke of you. My legacy, he'd say. Tragic waste. Legacy like the tape? Elena's last night. She sipped. Unruffled.
Ah.
Loose ends. Gino captured it accidental insurance. Jack paid triple to bury. But whispers linger. Why dredge now? I leaned in. Voice low thunder. Bucket list. Your hubby's name tops it. Fancy joinin'? Rose's laugh tinkled crystal. Bold. But Jack's dead. Tape's ash. Unless. She trailed, glancing to shadows. Two goons in ill-fit suits. Our SUV watchers. You stir hornets.
Boy.
Syndicates fracturing. Feds nibble. Russians push. My play? Neutral. Tommy materialized. Hand on her elbow. Neutral's luxury. We got Kowalski's word. You inherited the blackmail files. Hand him. She wrenched free. Voice icing. Touch me. You die slow. The gala blurred, waltzes and whispers, as we herded her to a powder room alcove. She cracked, producing a thumb drive from her clutch. Digitized hell. Elena screams. Jack snarls. Timestamps damning.
Take it.
But know this. Jack's list ends with Sarah Klein. She's the key DA with Senate dreams. But her skeleton's bigger. Affair with Jack. Pre-Elena. Covered it to climb. Twist upon twist.
Klein.
The prosecutor who'd grilled me like steak. Dad's lover? The drive burned in my palm as we extracted. Rose's glare promising reprisal. Hornets indeed, as we hit the valet. Shots shattered glass. Goons advancing. Tommy returned fire. Me peeling rubber. The Impala fishtailing into slush. We lost them in the foothills. Holing in a roadside diner off 80. Drive decrypted on Tommy's laptop. Files galore. But one video gut punch me. 12. Running Dad's envelope. Oblivious pawn. Good blood. Elena's voiceover. Tender. Tears stung. Unbidden. Senate race. Tommy mused. Klein's vulnerable. Debate next week. Reno. I nodded. The chain coiling tight. For down. 3 to go. But Dad's 12th. Me as executioner? It whispered doubt. The first fracture in the rage. The drive to Reno's outskirts felt eternal. The Impala's wipers slapping slush like accusations. Tommy rode shotgun. Laptop glowing confessions. Tate. Ruiz. Kowalski. Rose's files stacking evidence like a house of cards. Lena's letters tucked beside. Elena's words a talisman. Good blood. But good blood spilled easy in this game. And Sarah Klein's ascent loomed. Her Senate bid a juggernaut of attack ads and donor dinners. She was the apex, prosecutor turned politico. Ice blonde ambition in power suits. The woman who'd painted me murderer in court with smiles sharp as stilettos. We rented a nondescript Accord in Winnemucca. Ditching the Impala's plates. Too hot now. Tommy's PI net snagged her schedule. Debate prep at UNR. Mock rounds in a mock auditorium. Surrounded by aides and security. Fortress. He grumbled over bad coffee at a Basque diner. Aides are ex-feds. She'll have detail. Then we improvise. I scanned the drive's gems. Klein's affair logs. Motel receipts time-stamped with Dad's drops. Love notes coded in legalese. Leverage. She crumbles quiet. Or we go loud. UNR's campus sprawled autumn gold. Aspens shedding like regrets. We posed as janitors. Coveralls from a thrift. mops sloshing, slipping into the bowels during lunch rush. The mock auditorium was rehearsal hell, Klein pacing stage, barking at a podium proxy.
Her voice a whip. Wrong.
Pivot harder on crime. Harlan case proves it. Lock him up. Throw away the key. Irony bit deep. Her detail, 2 burly suits, lounged back row. Earpieces buzzing. Tommy pickpocket an aide's badge at the urinal trough. Me distracting with a spill. We ghosted backstage. Hearts hammering, waiting for her smoke break. She emerged alone. Finally, cancer stick trembling in manicured nails. Balcony overlooking quad. I stepped from shadows. Tommy covering stairs. MS.
Klein?
Jack Harlan sends regards. She spun. Fag dropping. Composure cracking fractional.
You.
The con. How? Parole's a bitch. I dangled the drive. USB glinting. Affair files. Elena's murder. Your climb greased by dad's grease. Senate dreams die ugly in headlines. Her eyes. Blue steel. Flickered fear? Calculation? Blackmail? Juvenile. Those files are forgeries. Jack was a liar. I played a clip on my phone, her voice. Post-coital purr. Jack. The union skims risky. But for us. She paled, glancing to the door. Truth now, I pressed. .45 settle in pocket. You knew about Elena. Covered for him. Why? Klein straightened, regaining frost. Survival. Jack introduced me to the game, intern days. 98. Elena was collateral. She threatened to expose us after he roughed her. I advised the overdose. Mercy. Really. Clean narrative.
You?
Framed to bury the heist trail. Jack promised light time. I believed him. Believed. Tommy emerged. Voice venom. You buried a boy for ambition. She sneered. And you? The shooter who ran. Hypocrite much? The slap echoed, Tommy's handprint blooming on her cheek. She didn't flinch. Just dabbed blood. Hit me again. You're done.
But. Deal.
I bury the list. Testified Jack's confessions. Clear your name posthumously. In exchange, files vaporize. Senate's mine. Controversial crossroads. Trust the viper who'd coiled my noose? Or end her? Risk the avalanche? Her eyes held no remorse. Just pragmatism, the American way. Chew or be chewed. One more, I said. The 12th name. Dad's endgame. Klein's laugh chilled. You. Darling. Jack's cancer note to me. If I fade, make Jackie pull the trigger. Blood debt. He wanted you stained, monster like him. Or redeemed. Poetic. No. The balcony spun. Wind gusting leaves like indictments. Tommy growled assent to the deal. But I saw the fracture, his fists clenched. Maria's face flashing in his mind. We took her word. Drive copied. Her promising oppressor post-debate. But as we melted into the quad, aid swarming, doubt festered. Viper indeed. That night, holed in a flea bag off Wells Avenue. Tommy cracked. She's playing us. Files to her team already cover spin. Then we crashed the debate. I sketched plans, disrupt live. Force confession on air. Risky SWAT Central, but climax demanded spectacle. Splitting viewers, hero vigilantes or vengeful thugs. Debate night thrummed, KUNR studios packed. Lights blazing. Moderator drones on policy. Klein poised. Klein confident. Opponent a milquetoast stem. We infiltrated as crew, Tommy rigging mics. Me in the wings with a concealed cam linked to the drive. Mid-crime segment. Her smug. Tough sentences save lives, like the Harlan murder. Botched justice I fixed. I hit play remotely. Elena screams booming speakers. Gasps rippling audience. Chaos. Security lunging. Klein frozen as clips rolled. Affair.
Cover up. Frame job.
Lies, she shrieked. But the feed held. Tommy's hack ironclad. Sirens wailed preemptive. We bolted. Cam capturing her collapse, makeup smearing. Empire crumbling live. Outside. Rain lashed. Us sprinting alleys. Laughter bubbling manic. Two left, the illegible name. And us, but in the downpour. Tommy clutched his side, grazed by a stray round. Blood seeped. Hot. Worth it.
Hermano.
I bandaged him in a storm drain. The list sodden. Victory tasted copper, blood.
Rain.
Yet Klein's words echoed, stained or redeemed. The chain dragged heavier. Penultimate link gleaming. Tommy's wound festered like unspoken sins. Infection setting in by dawn. We patched at a clinic in Lovelock, back alley doc. No questions. Antibiotics smuggled in a gym sock. Gangrene if we push, the quack muttered. Stitching sloppy. Rest. Or lose the arm. Rest for the dead, Tommy grunted. But sweat beaded his brow. Maria's photo clutched like a crucifix. I drove us north. Toward the Black Rock Desert. That alkali wasteland where Burning Man ghosts linger year-round. Off-grid again. Abandoned Airstream trailer Dad once used for contingencies, stocked with canned beans and burners. The list's illegible name nagged. Ink smeared to ghosts. R__M__I. Rosa Moretti. Tommy wheezed. Fever dreaming on the Naugahyde. Gino's kid?
No, wait.
Ruiz. Frankie Ruiz. The cop. But we got him. I pored over the napkin under lantern. Magnifying glass from the trailer's junk drawer. Letters swam. R.
M.
Informant.
Rosa?
No. Her files confirmed loyalty. Then click. Rosa Morales. Elena's maiden. Mom's alias? But crossed pre-list. Deeper dig. Dad's old ledgers. Hidden panel in the floor. Yellow pads chronicling payoffs. One entry. 05. RM payout. Silence on it. Rosa Morales. Mom's childhood confidant. The sister Lena mentioned? No, Lena was Vasquez. Flash. Elena's letters. Signed are in code? Tommy stirred. Call Lena. She knows. Burner rang hollow. Voicemail. It's done. Feds have Klein. She's flipping on the syndicates. But watch your back. Jack's 12th is live. Someone's tying you off.
Click.
The air thickened. Desert wind moaning through tin cracks. 12th. Not me pulling Dad's plug. But me as the plug, pulled by proxy. Who? The illegible. R. Mercer, Federal. Revelation hit like monsoons. Robert Mercer. U.S. Marshal. Tommy's Witsec handler. The Fed who'd vanished him post-trial. But per Crow's scribbles, Mercer's name dotted payoffs. Dirty badge, Crow wrote. Jack's inside man, framed kid. Then buried tape. Mercer. The ghost in the machine. Puppeteering from D.C. Shadows. Tommy's eyes widened. That hijo de puta promised safety, new life. If he's on the list, he's the closer. I pace the airstream. Stars wheeling overhead through the skylight. Klein flips. Syndicates crumble. He cleans house. Pins remnants on us. Vigilantes dead in a shootout. Fever broke Tommy loose-lipped. Regrets spilling, abandoning me. Maria's birth during his vacation. Dad's whispers pre-frame. Protect the family.
Tommy.
Jackie's the strong one. Lies layered like strata. Each excavation uglier. We plotted Mercer's hit, his retirement in Boise. Ex-Fed's haven. But Tommy faltered. Color ashen. Can't.
Ride. You go.
I'll hold. Like hell. I loaded him meds. The .45. Drove through Dawn's bruise. Boise sprawled orderly, potato fields giving to tract homes. Mercer's a split level with an American flag limp on the pole. Posed as salesman solar panels. Door to door, badge scanned us in. Mercer answered in slippers. 60s wiry. Eyes cop sharp. Harlan? Shitfire. The legend lives. Legend like you're cut from Dad's envelopes. I shouldered past. Tommy flanking weak. Den diplomas. Golf trophies. Witsec plaque mocking. He chuckled. Pouring scotch, no fear. Just appraisal.
Boys. Sit.
Jack's list? Amusing. He thought I betrayed, nah. I enabled. Elena's mess? Covered for national security. Syndicates tied to cartels. Feds needed insiders. Bullshit. Tommy coughed blood. Sinking to the leather. You sold us out. Mercer shrugged. Pragmatism. Framed Jackie to dismantle Gino's cell. Tommy's Witsec a honeypot.
Klein?
My asset. Senate run launders intel. Jack's cancer? I eased it morphine OD.
Quiet.
Bucket list? His delusion. Crossing chumps while I tied the real bow. The room reeled. Dad's mercy kill. Mercer? Fed euthanasia? Controversial apex. Patriot or assassin? Mercer's smile wolfed. Join or die.
Kid.
Klein's flipping clean. Blames Jack solo. You walk. Or become the fall again. Tommy lunged. Derringer barking. Grazed Mercer's shoulder. Chaos. Mercer drawing ankle piece. Me firing center mass. He crumpled. Gurgling.
Loose.
And we ransacked. Files galore. Witsec dockets. Klein memos. Dad's suicide note dictating the list as legacy test. Tommy collapsed post-fight. Wound ruptured. Maria. Tell her. Hold on. I dragged him to the Accord. Boise blurring as I floored to ER. Doc stabilized, sepsis dodged, but he slept doped. Me vigil in vinyl chair. Last name, us? Or Dad's ghost? Klein's presser aired on the waiting room TV. Tearful. Miscarriage of justice. Harlan innocent. Vindication. But hollow. The chain snapped. Or so I thought. Weeks blurred in Boise's sterile hum. Tommy mending slow. IVs dripping absolution. Media frenzy peaked. Vigilante justice or mob remnant. Pundits split. Fox hailing, everyman reckoning. MSNBC decrying lynch mob 2.0. Klein suspended. Mercer, heart attack per Fed spin. Syndicates crumbling under RICO raids. Rosa's files leaked anonymous. Elena's truth exhumed in op-eds. Mob widow's secret love. Controversy crested. LGBTQ icons claiming her. Conservatives raging deviant cover-up. I paced hospital halls. The napkin tatters in my wallet. Dad's ring mocking. Loose ends tied. But the 12th knot, his note. Per Mercer's stash. Jackie finishes. Mercy or monster? I'd chosen neither. Chaos. Splitting the nation like a fault line. Tommy woke lucid third day. Maria arriving via aunt. Pigtails and questions. Uncle Jackie fight bad guys.
Like Batman, I lied.
Ruffling her curls. But nights haunted. Elena's blue lips. Dad's wheeze. Tommy shot.
Redemption?
Or just another con. Discharge hit Reno bound. Tommy driving Ginger. Maria backseat chattering cartoons. We detoured Black Rock. Closure ritual. Airstream dust choked. But the ledgers yielded last gem. Coordinates etched in margin. Pyramid Lake, Dad's ranch. The lake shimmered mirage blue. Ranch weathered but standing. For sale sign crooked. Realtor gone. Us trespassing, sunset gold. Attic crawl space. Footlocker twin. Locked but picked easy. Inside, not cash. But letters, Dad to me. Unsent. Son. The list was test, see if blood runs true. Elena's death mine. Forgive or avenge. But live free. Mercy was you pulling my plug, cancer pain too fierce. Mercer refused. I couldn't ask. Tears hot. Unashamed. He'd staged the frame for my toughening, but remorse festered. List as catharsis. Unfinished. Last page. 12th. Forgive yourself. Tommy read silent. Maria chasing fireflies outside. He was broken.
Hermano.
Like us. We burned the letters lakeside. Flames dancing reflections. Pyre for ghosts. But peace fractured dawn. Burner buzzed, Lena. Feds incoming. Klein flipped partial. Names you.
Tommy.
Vigilantes warrant. Betrayal's echo. Klein steel vapor? Or Mercer safeguard. We bolted. Maria bundled. Impala reborn with fresh plates. Chase ignited on 447. Black and white swarming. Choppers thumping. Tommy floored. Me shotgun blasting tires. Desert unspooling apocalypse. Split at the junction, he yelled. Take Maria, Phoenix, safe house. No, but he veered. Drawing fire. Tacoma fishtailing dust plumes. Shots cracked, his rig flipping spectacular. Roll after roll. Exploding secondary. Screams choked, Maria wailed. I punched south cross country. Evading roadblocks. Boise news crackling. Shootout. Reyes dead. Harlan fugitive. Grief armored rage. Tommy gone. For the second time. The list's end?
Me.
Alive but hollow. Phoenix swallowed us, Maria and me. Ghosts in a safe house tract. Blinds drawn perpetual dusk. Tommy's aunt took her days. School and swings. While I nights hunted shadows. Klein's trial looming. Her testimony twisting us terrorists. Feds painted the list manifesto. Elena's files fabricated. Controversy raged. Forums ablaze. Harlan heroes merch popping Etsy.
Counter-protest branding me Bin Laden light.
I hold anonymous. Diner shifts, washing grease for cash. Burner scrolling headlines. Dad's ring sold quick. Blood money for formula. Maria asked once. Bedtime whisper. Papa coming back? Like Uncle Jackie. Throat closed. He's watching.
Mia.
Stars. Twist-crested month 3. Anonymous drop, envelope at the aunt's. No prints. Inside. Full Mercer dossier. Klein's perjury logs. Signed RM.
Rosa Morales.
Lena's call confirmed. Elena's coded are her lover. Alive. Underground post -05 payout. She'd surfaced. Feeding leaks to cripple Klein.
Senate bid tanked.
Klein indicted, obstruction. Conspiracy. Her plea? Jack manipulated us all. Vindication partial. But Tommy's obit stung. Hero or hitman? Debates fractured families. Bars brawling over beers. I surfaced controlled, presser in a Phoenix VFW. Maria offstage with Aunt. Cameras flashed. Questions barraged. Monster or martyr? I held the napkin remnants. Voice steady. Dad's list was poison, betrayal's chain. Elena's truth. Love lost to lies. Tommy died free. I live for her. No arrest. Rosa's files bulletproofed immunity. Feds bargaining quiet. But the ending? No tidy bow. I took Maria cross-country. New names. Midwest anonymity, cornfields and casseroles. Her laughter thawing frost. Years on. Bucket list 11 fades yellow. Tucked with Elena's letters. Vengeance? It split me half monster. Half man. Leaving debates in my wake. Was Dad's game genius or grave? Did I redeem or repeat? Maria thrives. 10 now. Asking less. But nights. Desert winds whisper Tommy's laugh. Elena's code. Good blood. Forgiveness? Partial. The road untaken loops eternal. America's dark heart. Where loose ends fray, but never fully tie. And me? Just a son. Rewriting endings one scar at a time.